Imagine it's 1978 and you just got promoted. You earn very good money and you decided to fulfill one of your dreams, owning a brand new Benz. Maybe a W123 with a 3.0 diesel engine. Surely you pay a lot for that car, but it's state of the art. The materials, the engineering, the innovation, it's luxurious for sure, but also extremely reliable. It's the icon of automotive industry of its time. A great car that will endure. Now, fast forward to 2026. You also decided to buy a brand new Benz. So you pay a boatload of money and you get this tons of shabby LED lights and tons of plastic. What is this even supposed to be? I mean, like light decors at the prom? Why am I talking about this? Well, you'll find out soon enough. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. My name is Paul Tumakan. Welcome to Reclaim This Generation channel in my very first video on YouTube. You may ponder, just like me, that there is something very wrong with the world we live in today. I mean, the world has never really been a particularly nice place, at least not for the majority of people. But now it seems like a totally different level. It's like the relative welfare and middle class in the Western countries are no more. What I see is that there is this entire generation of really bright, ambitious people, and they are all entirely screwed. I'm not necessarily talking about Gen Z or Gen Alpha. The issues permeating our world impact people of different age, and they will likely continue to do so. So count yourself in, whether you are 15 or 50. To some extent, the current state of politics, global economy, and technology impact all of you, whether you like it or not, and whether you are aware of it or not. So hello, whoever you are. The purpose of my channel is to ask questions that most of you probably ask every day. What happened to that dream of prosperity, the dream of opportunity in democratic countries? Whether you are in the US, Canada, Australia, or maybe Europe, you'll surely recognize the same common issues of today. What issues exactly? Well, let's talk about them. First up, education. If you're in the US and you want a decent higher education, you obviously need to pay. And boy, you pay an arm and a leg, starting your adulthood with this immense terror called a student loan. If you're somewhere else, you may be more lucky and possibly get a free tuition. But let's be honest, in most cases, high quality of a degree means money, a lot of money. And on the top of that, how good is a degree these days if you still struggle to find a decent job having graduated? So is the education still worth it? And if so, which subject makes most sense? Will AI make most of the jobs requiring higher education obsolete? What about the quality of college education itself? Does it still make sense in 2026 in terms of value for money? Lots of questions here, but very few simple answers. Second issue is jobs. I mentioned landing a job already, right? Well, the current state of labor markets in the West is pitiful. Too few entry-level jobs in many areas mean young adults face a brick wall when it comes to living an independent, meaningful life. The overall instability of the job market means more anxiety, tougher economic decisions, risk avoidance, and the constant menace of financial hardship, even for highly qualified and experienced employees. Number 3, cost of living, or should I say cost of survival. Rental fees for apartments in large cities in the US and Canada have been rising for the last few years at a pace that cannot be offset with the stagnant salaries. In Europe, situation is quite similar, where especially in large cities and in holiday resorts, the rentals went skyrocketing due to mass tourism and operations of online platforms like Airbnb. Next up, consumerism. Well, fast fashion, enshittification, planned obsolescence of customer electronics, just to name a few phenomena that change the way we consume. It gets harder and harder to buy something durable, something meant to last and give you excellent value for money. That is why I gave you that example with Mercedes. But it's not really about cars only. Whether you talk smartphones, kitchenware, clothing, or even garden equipment, you will see exactly the same pattern. You keep paying more money for less value. Big tech. Big tech and social media are probably the biggest scams in our history. Bear with me. I know, the internet changed our lifestyles and introduced unseen levels of convenience, right? You look for information, you get it instantly. You need to shop online. Here you go. You want to communicate with your relatives abroad? Easy peasy. There are valid problems that big tech companies aim to solve, and they sort of did. But then they changed. Now it's not about providing services or making your life easier or helping you learn new skills. It's about your personal data, your preferences, your digital traces, sold to third party data brokers so that countless businesses can then sell more things that you don't really need. Internet of Things is a fancy word for devices that essentially spy on you, even in your own home. You are not the customer anymore. You're just a source of raw data for big corporations to process and leverage. And then social media. Well, social media were supposed to help reconnect people and make communities thrive, right? But now they are a cesspit full of AI slop, misinformation, random online hate, advertisements, and obviously tons of bigoted people trying to impress others with the stuff they got or places they visit, though nobody really wants to watch that anymore. And last but not least, people. How come we got so apart? Communities broken, social tissue destroyed, hate combined with ideological inclinations, political correctness without any intellectual merit, and all that in the internet fueled by algorithms. Is there even a way out of this mess? Well, I'm not sure, but I am sure of one thing. We are all getting more aware of what is going on, and we are really, really pissed about political indolence, social numbness, economic distress, and we may hope to see a change. Because we do not want to be constant victims of the reality where you are deprived of opportunity, basic stability, and decent means of living. Observing that a tiny fraction of society in countries like the US owns more than a half of the total national wealth. In the follow up episodes, I will discuss all of the above issues in more detail. But here I just want to highlight my personal view on what the solutions to those issues are. The first one is financial literacy. In school, you were taught many interesting things, stuff like the physiology of paramecium caudatum, orogenesis, or perhaps some old English literature. All of it very useful, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I do value all areas of human knowledge. But in real life, there are things more useful than others. And what you probably did not learn in school is how to really manage your personal finances. The thing is, that skill is actually very useful. Lack of financial literacy means you are more likely to make bad financial decisions that can lead you to poverty or, at best, prevent you from becoming wealthy. In my channel, I will cover a lot of topics in personal finance, but without BS. Concise, practical, and easy to follow bites of knowledge that you can directly try out in your own life. The other theme is something I call functional minimalism. It is actually very much linked to the previous one. Functional minimalism is a mindset which allows you to discern what you really need to have a decent life and what is redundant. We live in a world in which we are constantly attacked by aggressive marketing. We are brainwashed to buy more and more stuff that we don't really need. Minimalism is the cure for that cancer of excess. I will help you explore this concept in a greater detail in the upcoming videos. Thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If so, please like it and hit that subscribe button. I also appreciate all your comments. Thanks again and take care.